is. In this video, we're going to go over the operation and setup of Field Day Server, or FD Server, the software by W1HKJ, Dave. And I've done some slight modifications to this piece of software, as well as the FD client software. I've done major modifications too. This is written in a scripting language that's really easy to modify. Alright, when you first start it up, you're presented with this screen. First thing that you're asked for is station. The station is the station that you're reporting against when you submit your log. So I wouldn't put my call sign in here if I'm working with the CCDX club. So the CCDX club's call sign is AD1T, which is what we have in here. Multiplier is 2, because we're running the low power category, not the QRP. And if it was QRP, I believe it's 5. Class section, we have 5 stations, and A means not commercial mains, like we're using a generator. So that's 5 alpha. Section is New Hampshire. In our case, it's the state. If it was in Mass, you could have EMA for Eastern Mass or WMA for Western Mass, and it all depends on where you're located. There's the sections are pretty well listed on the ARL's website, as well as others. Autosave, how many seconds between auto-saving the file? So right now, as people check in and make contacts, it's logging them into memory. How often, how many seconds between auto-saving it to the actual disk do you want? I've got it set up for 60, but I'll tell you what, you get some CW operators that could leave a lot of room for issues if all of a sudden you lost power. 60 seconds and you get a lot of stations and CW operators, you could lose a substantial amount of data in that short period of time. So you might want to think about dropping that down. Also keep in mind, if you've got a device like a Raspberry Pi that you're running a server software on, yes, it runs fine on there. Reducing that substantially will, of course, increases the amount of writes to the device in the Raspberry Pi. You might want to consider saving a backup copy as well to a USB drive on there by creating a script to do so. By the way, the DB file, that's the database file. That's the text file, the CSV file that it's writing to every 60 seconds in my case here. So I called it just fd2017.fd. That's the actual CSV file, like I said. TCP IP address, that should always be, in 99.9999% of the cases, 127.0.0.1. That basically says I'm binding to the local machine. So any IP address that's connected to it, it will see. And the port is set as 20,002. Keep it to a higher port so you don't need to be super user to be able to bind to that port. So just usually just accept the defaults in the TCP IP fields. Now if I click OK here, it now brings up the main window. And so you can see the station call sign, the class, the multiplications, the cumulative score, by the way, which is pretty cool. So you see, okay, wait a second, I got 4 on 20 phone, and I also have 2 on 10 phone. That's only 6. How did I get to 12? Well, you've got your contacts times your multiplier, and that's what gives you the cumulative score. All right, so this screen should be pretty obvious what's going on here, right? You've got how many contacts per each band, per each mode, and this OPER apostrophe, that's the operator for that band. So if I started on my other screen over here, the FD client program, and I put in a call sign here, I've got to actually do it one more time because I didn't actually change the IP address here. So I'm going to go to config this. I'm going to point it to my computer, 127.0.0.1. So it's localhost. And then I'm going to click on the operator, log on, and I'll do AE1P. So we'll say AE1P is operating on 20 phone. I hit enter, and you'll notice that now that the client software is logged on the other screen here, it shows on the server that AE1P is logged on. It actually shows it connected and logged in here on the screen, and he's working. So I'm just going to work another station. And we'll put in now a hit enter, and you can see that it automatically added it, increased it here. By the way, Dave, W1HKJ's version of the server automatically keeps a running list of every time the file saves. I found that a little bit obtrusive, I guess. It added too much. If there was a lull in the action, it just had stuff flow off the screen, so you couldn't see that people were actually making contact. So I just took that out of the mix. I don't save that to the log. I don't save it to the screen. So it automatically saves it. I mean, it should be a given that it's working, and however many seconds that you have set up in the config is how often it saves it. Okay, that's it. It's pretty simple to use. You can file exit, and when you exit, by the way, I'll do the about. Created by W1HKJ, modified by me. And if I go exit, it's going to tell you, hey, we're closing the server. We'll close all clients. So as soon as I click OK, every client that's connected to the server is automatically going to close down and exit. So it's going to actually log off and then exit. So if I click OK, it just closed the server on my computer and the client on my computer, as well as if there were any other connected clients. That's it. It's pretty simple.